If someone told me in 2022 that the Zelda lore discussion would be completely non-existent after Tears of the Kingdom, I wouldn't believe you. You see, even if you care or not, I'm someone who loves to be immersed in the games I play and loves some good lore and world building being built into my games. The Zelda series always delivered on it in some form. Granted, sometimes things were left more vague than they could have been, or it didn't make fully sense, looking at you, Zelda timeline. And also, the Zelda team doesn't want to be forced into some narrative or be constrained by some rules established by previous games. And yeah, I totally get that. But man, I've been a Zelda fan for as long as I can remember, and always loved its stories and the universe they created. Also intentionally connecting them through various lore drops sprinkled throughout the games. A big reason why many fans are so attached to the series and could talk about games even years in the future is the world building and lore. If a game releases, you sure can talk about the gameplay and the things you can do in a game for many months after the release, but story and lore is something that will carry the discussion about a video game even 10 or 15 years in the future. Like the Portal series and its many secrets and hard to reach rooms with sometimes no explanation, or also Shadow of the Colossus, which I still haven't played yet, but I get videos recommended about a very minimalistic story, yet very rich in lore that is hiding behind it. And that goes beyond just video games, like an older animation called 9, where I've gotten a recommendation not too long ago on YouTube, and its lore and story. The time after the release of Breath of the Wild was absolutely insane. I have never seen so many theory and lore discussions about a video game like ever before, and especially on the YouTube side of things too. Videos would receive multiple millions of views and across many videos. It got people fired up to discuss these things until the second and third trailer of Tears of the Kingdom, where people would theorize where this game could go. Of course, the hype when Tears of the Kingdom released was insane, but never have I seen a game vanish so quickly from the discussions than this one. Especially after some interviews with the developers where you get the feeling that they couldn't care less about the story and how much sense it makes, especially to lore from previous games, regarding also the Master Soul for example. But I made such a video about Tears of the Kingdom and its history in the past already, so every person and their mom has made a rant video about it too. It's an overdone critique, we all get it. Now appears a Hyrule Warriors based on the story of Tears of the Kingdom, and for the first time ever, a Warriors spin-off mentions specifically, and at that in every trailer, that the story will be canon. Why mention that? Is it a response to the dissatisfaction of the fans who wanted to see Age of Calamity actually being a prequel, and them falsely advertising the game as such back then? Although the story was better than both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom combined, in my opinion. But even then, it was false advertising. Or is it Nintendo, aka the Zelda team, aka Aonuma, having a change of mind, after seeing the discussion almost dying out, and the game even being almost forgotten now? We had a little game called Echoes of Wisdom, which came out 1.5 years after Tears of the Kingdom, and this one had probably the biggest lore drop ever since Skyward Sword, stating that the whole series is technically just existing because of a curse from an evil demon king called Demise, making Link, Zelda and Ganondorf getting reborn every hundreds or thousands of years. Although, to be honest, that lore drop might even be bigger than this one. As a longtime fan, I felt that sense of wonder and excitement again. But man, that game had barely any presence online. There were some creators making a video or two, but the game vanished rather quickly too. I have seen Zelda creators either switching to other IPs, making videos on older games again, or just straight up vanishing from the platform. which honestly makes me a bit sad. I miss the times post Breath of the Wild. There were some great times. Some even decided to start a family instead. Shout out to Zeltic, who became a father not too long ago. Wishing you and your family the absolute best. Going back to the new Hyrule Warriors, I genuinely believe that the Zelda team had a change of mind. And if you think it's impossible, there's a perfect example that they actually do listen. And that's the existence of Breath of the Wild itself. Because when Skyward Sword came out, a lot of people complained that the game was way too linear. And many also disliked the motion controls, making it a bit too convoluted, I guess. So instead of doubling down on it, they went ahead and created the most open Zelda game ever, with probably the most simple combat system we ever had. And even the dungeons saw some improvements going from Breath of the Wild into Tears of the Kingdom. Was it a lot? Absolutely not. But it was an improvement. So I get the feeling that the Zelda team might actually want to put a slightly bigger focus on the narrative and world building part again. I do believe they see how the discussions around the Zelda series has kinda died down, and now they want to bring it back up, with the story and echoes of wisdom that they surely overlooked and helped Grezzo in a way to create it too. But now also Age of Imprisonment and stating how it's actually canon. We complained that we haven't even seen who the sages are and how they look. And would you look at that, we already have a Gerudo face now. Do I believe we will get an actual canon story? In all honesty, I genuinely think so. I might look very stupid in a month, but I don't think they would specifically mention it being canon multiple times, and even state it in interviews this time around. I also think that we might get a more story-focused mainline game next time around. I gotta say that after Tears of the Kingdom, Xenoblade took the place of my favorite series, especially because you just feel how much more they care about the stories they tell, which definitely wasn't the case with this one. But once again, I would like to believe that this has changed. It's also interesting to mention that Breath of the Wild is still selling incredibly well, even 8 years later. Tears of the Kingdom is selling roughly the same numbers as Breath of the Wild, but that's 2 years after release. After an insanely successful first 2 months, the sales numbers for this game kind of flatlined. Now, I'm not saying it's because of the story and the sequel actually not being a sequel, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's influenced a lot of people into being less interested in the game. Although there is some damage that they have done, especially to the core fanbase, which won't be able to be fixed right away, they could try to repair some of it by giving us answers in this newest Hyrule Warriors, and trying to fix some of that mess. Giving us answers about the secret stones, the Zonais, the depths, the Sky Islands, and that one skin we received in Tears of the Kingdom with no explanation. What do you think? How high is the likelihood of this game being canon, and just the future of all the Zelda games focusing slightly more on the story aspect again? Feel free to let me know. Been quite a while since the last Zelda video, but I'm honestly quite happy to have a reason to talk about Zelda again, and I sure hope I'll have more reasons for it in the future. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you'll have a great day, and I wish you all the best, folks. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.